Awake, arise, and assert yourself. You dreamers of the world, your star is now in ascendancy. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand, and work whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. When your desires are strong enough, you will appear to possess superhuman powers to achieve. The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge. Set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. More gold had been mined from the mind of men than the earth itself. Put your foot upon the neck of the fear of criticism by reaching a decision not to worry about what other people think, do, or say. Perhaps we shall learn, as we pass through this age, that the other self is more powerful than the physical self we see when we look into a mirror. There are no limitations to the mind, except those that we acknowledge. Remember, too, that all who succeed in life get off to a bad start and pass through many heartbreaking struggles before they arrive. The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually comes at some moment of crisis through which they are introduced to their other selves. Any ideas, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. Remember that your dominating thoughts attract, through a definite law of nature, by the shortest and most convenient route, their physical counterpart. Be careful what your thoughts dwell upon. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small amount of fire brings a small amount of heat. You become what you think about. If you give up before your goal has been reached, you are a quitter. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Lift this sentence out. Write it on a piece of paper in letters an inch high, and place it where you will see it every night before you go to sleep, and every morning before you go to work. You are entities to know that two entities occupy your body. One of these entities is motivated by and responds to the impulse of fear. The other is motivated by and responds to the impulse of faith. Will you be guided by faith, or will you allow fear to overtake you? Desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen pulsating desire which transcends everything. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Every man is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which he permits to occupy his mind. The capacity to surmount failure without being discouraged is the chief asset of every person who attains outstanding success in any calling. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past, or how lofty your aims and hopes may be. Both success and failure are largely the results of habit. The only limitation is that which one sets up in one's own mind. The capacity to surmount failure without being discouraged is the chief asset of every person who attains outstanding success in any calling. Opportunity. It often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Successful men become successful only because they acquire the habit of thinking in the terms of success. Goals are dreams with a deadline. It is your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. There are no limitations to the mind, except those we acknowledge. Both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. Procrastination is the bad habit of putting off, until the day after tomorrow, what should have been done the day before yesterday. The cause of the depression is traceable directly to the worldwide habit of trying to reap without sowing. If you are ready for the secret, you already possess one half of it. Therefore, you will readily recognize the other half the moment it reaches your mind. Remember that your real wealth can be measured not by what you have, but by what you are. If you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure you will control nothing else. He had nothing to start with, except the capacity to know what he wanted, and the determination to stand by that desire until he realized it. No one can make you jealous, angry, vengeful, or greedy, unless you let him. In parting, I would remind you that life is a checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving, or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate decisions